We are so excited to introduce audio fraud detection to improve the video interview process and help people find the best candidates for their organization. Currently, recruiters must conduct multiple interviews in order to find the right person to hire. And that average number of people that apply for a single position is 118, which doesn't make it easy to narrow that down and find the best person for your company. Additionally, 40% of people have admitted to lying or falsifying information on their resume, and that goes forward into the interviews as well. As you can see, the role of a hiring manager or HR representative is becoming more and more difficult. As a candidate is interviewed, they may embellish or lie about their past experience and skills. And human judgment is only about 40% accurate in predicting whether an individual is being genuine or not. And video interviews only make that even more difficult. And with the way the world is going right now, there's going to be more and more hiring managers and HR representatives using video software. The number right now is 60%, and we expect that number to increase over the next few years. Right now, companies are required to rely simply on their recruiter's judgment or timely technical checks to ensure that what they're saying is true. Most tests are not able to verify one's work or ethical values or other soft skills in an interview. If the recruiter hires the wrong individual based on the candidate's word, the company can end up wasting a lot of time and resources on that individual. In order to solve these problems and help organizations find the best people possible, the audio fraud detection team, consisting of myself, Samantha Berg, Ian Cole, Isaac Dayley, Nathan Harker, and Samantha Prettyman, have spent the last semester creating a machine learning system to more accurately determine whether an individual is lying or not in their interview. We hope that this system will ultimately help companies find the best candidates to fill every role in their organization.
Well, it's great to have you here, Connor. Connor is working in an HR department, and so he is going to demo our website. So the first task that we'll have you do is upload a audio file on our website.
Okay, I'm assuming that's just upload here.
Yep.
Okay, I have a file prepped for this. Yes, Mallory interview. And then do I click scan audio? Is that right?
And then you'll just go ahead and upload it. And then we'll just wait for it to upload now. So now you can see our API is returned back on this website. It's returned the results.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about anything on here?
Yeah, what are some of the results that I can see?
Yeah, so at the top it gives a general analysis. So it's saying that there's a 53% probability that it was a truth.
Okay.
If you scroll down, there is an option on the more info page.
Okay.
And that will provide a breakdown just because each of our models, we have several models working together to analyze the audio. So if you click on that, it'll show more info.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
And then at the very bottom, we'll have a visual graph just showing like the audio levels throughout the audio file that you uploaded.
Okay, cool. And so this is broken down by topic or section of the interview?
So this is broken down by the model. If you scroll back up a little bit, there is a link where we give a more detailed explanation of it.
Okay, do you want me to click that?
Sure. So this page breaks down how our API works, or how our model works, and then as well it gives a bit of info of the process that a user can use to use our system.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we use a variety of different models just because that helps increase the accuracy, and as well there might be some use cases users may see that one model is more accurate in their use case than others, and they can look at that model more often for reference.
Okay, awesome. That's really cool.
And then you also our website also has information on how you would implement this tool in your, like, if you wanted to use this tool for your own company, there is documentation on our API.
Okay, under this tab right here.
Yep. Yeah, so this just documents how the different calls you could make to our website, and then how they would return the values.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's a general overview of our website and the features that we offer. Do you have any final questions?
No, I think this is great. This is something I've never thought of, and this is honestly something that could be super useful. So good work.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So our core design expectations were originally a customer service tool with an API that would allow users to use our website to upload and perform audio analysis and get a live analysis during a call to detect fraud. Last year, we ended up making a prototype that was demonstrating how a user would interact with that tool, and got some feedback and made some changes accordingly. However, after we did further research at the beginning of this Capstone project, we looked at the data sets that we had and the data sets that we could gather, and we decided to shift our goal to have an interview-based machine learning model, and then that would have an API that users could use to interact and access our trained model. And so our new core design expectations became that a user could interact with that API, that they would upload an audio file, and then they would receive a result indicating how much, or the chance that it was a fraudulent interview response, as well as the probability that it was fraudulent. So our first MVP was a website where users would interact with our API just so that they could see how our API would work. And so the users would go into our website, the website would interact with the API and allow them to record a video on our website, and then they would go and see the results of that video. And so then that was our first iteration. We then took that and we made a second iteration where users could see example interview questions and responses, and then they would click a button, and then it would interact with our API and upload it to the website. So that is what we first sent out for user feedback. And one of the main things that we got in our user feedback was the importance of being able to see how it could be broken down, like why it was returning that it was a truth or a lie. And so we broke it out so that our 6 different models would then send those files, or would be separately sent out. And so a user could say, oh, it's saying it's fraudulent because 4 of these models say it's fraudulent with this much probability, and then 2 of them say it is not fraudulent with this much probability. We then worked on our next iteration, which was to have proper API keys, and then as well store results in a database so that we could query the data more easily. And then finally as well, we also added a new page where users could upload audio files directly and see how our system would interact with those.
Originally, our team had hoped to use data that a few of our professors had collected during their PhD research, but unfortunately that data was no longer accessible. For our first prototype, one of our team members reached out to the LDC of the University of Pennsylvania, and we used their CSC deceptive speech dataset, which consisted of about 32 hours of audio interviews to create a few initial machine learning models. The data consisted of 2 individuals asking one another questions and pressing a foot pedal each time they lied. After a meeting with our mentor, our use case shifted in focus from customer service to job interviews. From there, we determined that we needed to collect our own data that would be more applicable to our new use case. We collected data through a survey and exercise format that we sent out to fellow BYU Marriott School students, as they have the most experience with interviews. To incentivize participation, we offered $10 Amazon gift cards for our first 40 participants, and all individuals were entered into a $50 gift card raffle. These students were given a hypothetical job listing and had to go through an online interview where they answered 4 questions and reflected on how much they had embellished their answers. The survey recorded the individual's audio responses and saved them to our database in the format of WAV files. After initially sending out the survey, our response numbers were lower than we had hoped, and as a result, we reached out to BYU students in general, not specifically just Marriott School students, as we had originally planned. We branched out and began targeting specific individuals, as well as requesting teachers to send it out to their classes and posting it on Sona. Those that came from Sona were not entered into the gift card drawings and instead received extra credit for their participation. The data we collected would be further used in our machine learning models and replace the data that we were using originally from the CSC speech dataset.
The data we received from the survey interview exercise was cleaned and transcribed through a Python transcription library. Audio analysis machine learning models were also created using Python audio libraries. These models were trained to detect fraud through similarities in fraudulent audio, such as the energy and pitch changes in the speaker's voice. Text analysis models were trained off of the transcription of the audio files. These models were trained to detect fraud by examining similar word patterns in fraudulent text, the sentiment expressed by the text, positive, negative, or neutral, the occurrence of key words associated with dishonesty, and other metadata extracted from the audio, such as the amount of silence, words per second, and total recording length. A similar process was also used on the CSC deceptive speech dataset to create models from that data, which are also used in our prediction pipeline to help generate the most accurate overall prediction. Our entire prediction pipeline is set up on AWS. The process starts by a client triggering our services API, either using our website or by integrating our API into their own interviewing software. The first step is uploading the audio to our AWS storage. Then, through several other services on AWS, the audio is run through our audio analysis models, which make a prediction on its truthfulness. The audio is transcribed, visualized, and run through our text analysis models, which also make predictions. Then all the predictions from a total of 6 different models are combined using a weighted average approach based on the probability of the prediction and the accuracy of each respective model. Finally, the truth-lie predictions, probability scores, and the audio visualization are returned to the user of the website or can be accessed by the client through our API.
We created a Loop 11 system to take an individual through our system through 2 iterations with 5 users each iteration. To evaluate our system, we had potential users go through a set of tasks. Individuals who regularly conduct interviews reviewed the system's informational pages and the functionality of the system itself. All users were able to successfully navigate the informational pages and find the content we tasked them with locating. One of the tasks they were required to complete included judging an interview clip's truthfulness, then comparing it to a prediction from our system of the truthfulness of our system. We had them give feedback about their confidence in our system's accuracy over their own judgment. We didn't focus our evaluations on the UX and design due to the system being more experimental and functionality focused. After we created our system, we wanted to then see if it would be trusted by our users. We conducted a statistical analysis of our results from the first evaluation that were directly related to our core user outcome of increasing people's confidence in detecting fraud. Our analysis revealed a strong correlation between people using our system as opposed to the baseline of detecting fraud unassisted and their confidence in detecting fraud being increased. However, our p-value for this correlation, the probability that the correlation is just a coincidence, was higher than anticipated. This was due in part to our small sample size, but after reviewing qualitative survey results from participants, we learned that users would increase in confidence more and trust our system more if the analysis results we showed them had more detail and explained more about how a prediction was made. In other results, our users rated the ease of navigation of our website on average 4.4 out of 5, and a score of 3.8 out of 5 for their likelihood of relying on our tool if they were interviewing a candidate. Our qualitative analysis helped provide us with some great structural insights. Overall, we noticed that trust was stronger if the individual understood what the system is evaluating to determine honesty. Although the interviewer does not understand the specifics that go into the system, they were reassured by the result when they knew the different categories being looked at. After our first evaluation, we updated our system to accommodate the first evaluation's feedback. Notably, we added a More Info button to our system's prediction results page. This allowed users to see more information about the predictions from the various machine learning models that were being aggregated for our system's final prediction. We also included a link to our About page for users to see more information about each of our machine learning models and what information is being used to create the algorithms for each model. Our second evaluation was also conducted through Loop 11 software. In our second evaluation, we hope to improve our users' confidence even more by having them submit audio themselves and seeing the actual results page, complete with a prediction, probability score, audio text transcription, and more info. The statistical analysis of this test once again revealed a strong positive correlation between users' overall confidence in being able to detect fraud in using our system. Once again, the p-value was slightly higher than desired, but it was close enough to an acceptable range that we could attribute the difference to our small sample size. With our modifications in this test, our users rated the ease of navigation of our website on average 4.2 out of 5, and a score of 4 out of 5 for their likelihood of relying on our tool if they were interviewing a candidate. Our second qualitative analysis helped us determine that we needed to further explain probability versus percent honesty. Additionally, it appeared individuals became confused and sometimes struggled to follow the Loop 11 directions and may have confused some questions when it came to specific tasks. From this, we knew we needed to further explain and be more direct for those that are not as technologically informed.
We learned many various lessons throughout the course of this semester. One of which we wanted to bring up specifically had to do with speaking clearly into the microphone and encouraging candidates to speak as they would in a real in-person interview. Naturally, there's lots of feedback and things that can get brought in through the speakers, and in order to minimize that, in our data collection and prototyping processes, we explicitly asked each interviewee to act as though they were participating in a real interview. But naturally, the process was not perfect, and we had to do some maneuvering to make it the best that we could. Additionally, as this product is implemented into other hiring systems in the future, we will recommend that a prompt or pop-up of some kind that will specify speaking clearly in order to get the best and most accurate results. Compared to the accuracy of human judgment at 40%, our system provides an accuracy of up to 70%. A 75% improvement on what humans can do by themselves. With the COVID pandemic, interviews are now mainly performed online or remotely, providing multiple mediums where our system can be implemented in order to find the best candidates for each organization. Individuals often put their best selves on display when they're being interviewed. Through an online medium, it's much more difficult to pick up on the mannerisms of lying and embellishment, and that's what our system is truly here to do. In future iterations of our project, we would scale up the capacity of our cloud infrastructure behind our machine learning predictions to increase the speed with which predictions can be returned to the user and increase the number and size of audio files that can be processed simultaneously. We would also further develop our API infrastructure so users can more easily search their data and manage user access. The data we collected also contained a disproportionate number of truthful answers, leading our model to be slightly skewed to make truthful predictions. For further progression, our team would look at including visual analysis based off of the interviewee's video. We would also look at putting video clips through our system and educating ourselves on how it can be analyzed and what traits to look for. We're very excited about this system and the progress that we've made this far, and thank you for watching our video.